keep it easy, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey everyone, this is Barry from NFT Music Info. Hope everybody's well. Just a very short video just to introduce this segment. I reached out to a music artist who is really helpful on YouTube. He does a lot of different videos helping out artists, musicians, not just purely around NFTs, but around ads for Instagram, Facebook. This is his YouTube channel, as you can see. And he's also released some NFTs as well. So I thought it would be great because I know how much he's interested in NFTs, to have a good chat with him regarding that and to come up with some strategies for artists, some ideas, just to bounce ideas off each other really. So Tom's a great guy, and really encourage you to check him out if you haven't already, and enjoy the video. Thanks.
So tell me, I've watched some of your videos since you emailed me, but tell me kind of like what your channel is about aside from the obvious.
Sure.
Yeah.
I set up NFT Music Info about 6 months ago
Wow.
because I'm a synth pop synthwave artist myself, known as Cyber Monday, and I've been, making music since the age of 5. And when I first encountered NFTs and researched about it, I realized the potential for musicians, and I thought, wow, this is going to be the future. So for me, I personally found it quite complicating to begin with. If you've got to set up MetaMask and all the rest of it just to get on OpenSea. So I thought, well, I really wanted to be a YouTuber as well, but I could never find the subject matter of what I wanted to cover. But I was so interested and motivated by all of the NFT platforms and all of the music NFT projects that were coming in the space that I thought I really need to be talking about this and just raising awareness. So yeah, I cover things like NFT platforms, sometimes dedicated music NFT platforms, as well as music projects as well.
Okay, cool. I guess since you're going to be posting this on your channel, I should probably introduce myself too. So my name's Tom. I've been posting videos to YouTube for several years. I started out doing a daily vlog and did that for like 8 or 9 months and burned out like many YouTubers do. And then since I've like moved into like music marketing and really talking about like how to grow on Spotify, how to build a business as an artist rather than like how to be seen and like get a label. I don't think that a label should really be a factor in what you do. I think you should be focused on building a business as an artist. And so that's kind of been my whole thing as, I guess, as a YouTuber and as an individual and as an artist. And I release my own music to kind of like test things to show what works and what doesn't. So basically, like if you're a producer on a budget, let me spend the $100 on the playlisting platform and I'll tell you if it's good or if it sucks, then you don't have to spend your $100 on it, right? So that's been my whole thing. And I was late. I feel like I was late to the crypto game. I guess technically we're still very, very early. So
very early. We are.
Now say I was early, but at the time I felt like I was late. And I had like heard about Bitcoin and, equated everything with Bitcoin as everybody does. Then started to learn more about Ethereum and the differences there and started to be like, okay, this is really cool. It's like a global computer. This is different than just currency. And I bought some tokens. I, went through Coinbase like most new timers do and paid the fees and kept everything on the exchange and all that stuff. And then I started to learn more about NFTs. And I don't really remember exactly what the first thing was that turned me on to it. I think it might have been CryptoPunks I heard about. I don't own a CryptoPunk, unfortunately, but I think it was the first thing I heard about. And my first thought when I fully grasped the concept of what an NFT was this could fundamentally deconstruct and reconstruct the industry of music for the better. Because I have long held this belief that the music business is one of the most ripe for destruction industries on the planet. You've seen so many other industries be disrupted by technology, like Uber and Lyft completely destroying taxis, Airbnb completely destroying hotels, and so on.
Amazon.
Yeah, and And I just thought, why hasn't something come along that's done that to music yet? Because it feels like music is set up in such a way that the people who are actually making the art benefit the least. And then when I really started to grasp the concept of NFTs, I was like, oh, wow, this is the thing. Now, how it's going to get implemented is still getting figured out dramatically, I think. I think there's a lot of things that are yet to be seen with how music NFTs can change the business. But my first thought was this is the thing that will change it. And so I have started on my channel to talk more about crypto, talk more about NFTs. Sometimes those videos don't do as well because I'm the music marketing guy. But that's okay. My channel has always been about exploring what interests me and happily finding other people who are interested in the same things like yourself.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to keep talking about it because I, like you, really believe in the power of the technology.
No, that's great. I think that's wonderful. There's so many platforms out there, and they are growing all the time. They're changing all the time. So when I try and report on as many as possible. So by the time you've published that video, it can be out of date depending on what the developers have been working on that platform. So that can be a bit annoying because originally I reviewed, I think, like 20 platforms all about NFTs, some just streaming like Audius, others where there's a mix like Rocky.app is an interesting one because they do streaming and NFTs on the same platform. But you know, that's what I found. Some have even renamed themselves and rebranded themselves since I last did their video. So it's hard to keep up, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, I'm the same as you though. It's all about building awareness for me. It's not about how many views I get on this particular video. There is a project that I definitely cover a hell of a lot, which is called NFT Art Finance. Now they have the Enter.art platform as well as the Enter.audio platform. So the audio platform is dedicated for musicians to produce their NFTs. And there's a launch pad so that anybody can do that. But I've been reporting on them. Probably 60% of my videos are about that project. So I'm just so excited about what they've done and what they've achieved in such a short space of time. So yeah, there's a lot out there. And I'll just continue to keep updating people on these on not just platforms but also strategies about just something that I've really recently realized, and I think you know this since day one, since you've been doing this, is how important discoverability is for an artist. If you can get onto an NFT project platform early, chances are you'll be on their front page and you'll get a ton of sales initially. Even with just art NFTs, I've been doing this on crypto.com, which is recently, it's an exchange, but they've recently built their NFT platform. Now, you can't release music on there yet. It's not even movies, just not MP4s, just literally JPEGs, that kind of thing, and GIFs. But their front page was literally newest arrivals, you know, so whenever anybody posted an NFT, you'd be on the front page, and then the more people that would put NFTs after you go down. And the sales I was getting from that was incredible. But then again, as luck has it, they changed the filter and decided to have something completely different. So discoverability is so important because you're right, you feel like you're late in the game, but you're not. Because you can't possibly be the first artist out there to be on this particular platform. There's going to be a ton of others before you. But if you can find a way to get discovered, to get featured and not give up, I think that's what I'll see artists do.
Yeah, I think it's like figuring out mentally where to position this in an artist sort of like arsenal of things that you do. You've got your music that you release to streaming platforms. You've got music that you sell. You've got merchandise. And I think an easy thing to say is like, well, music NFTs are just kind of like a different form of merch and CDs or records or whatever. And that's kind of true, but also at the same time, it's completely owned thing. It's like a whole new segment of what you're doing that's been added in. And you can come up with really cool incentives that are attached to these tokens to build communities, to create access to fan clubs and memberships and VIP experiences. You know, if you wanted to do a live stream concert for just your one-of-one token holders, you can program that into a smart contract so that they can't even access the stream without logging in with their wallet. And like, if you are an artist and you know how to program, you're going to win right now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what a skill stack to have. If you can do both of those things, now is the time to pounce. I think one of the most difficult things for me right now is not just figuring out which platform to pursue, but also which blockchain to pursue. That's been a tough one that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I put a bunch of NFTs on OpenSea on the Ethereum mainnet, and sales just ground to a halt because gas fees are so high.
Crazy.
I mean, unless I'm buying a Bored Ape, there's no sense in paying $300 for a transaction. It's stupid.
Yeah, and you feel the same way for your fans, right? You feel exactly, you wouldn't feel fair doing that to them.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like a jerk. Like, hey, I put a 1 of 1 for, 0.25 ETH on OpenSea, but it's going to cost you just as much to buy it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. That doesn't seem like a fun experience to me. I don't want to ask people to do that. I've gotten messages from people like, hey, I was super pumped to support you and buy some NFTs, but here's a screenshot of the gas fees. Like, dude, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have bought it either.
And it's been crazy recently. I mean, it was getting to over $300 just to get stuff out there. I mean, there's a platform called Foundation, and I've sold one item on Foundation for 0.1 ETH. And I was really super pleased about that.
Yeah.
And you want to, when you get a bit of success, you want to try and do something else, because you want to make sure that you've got stuff available on the platform. But then it was looking at over $300 to list. It was looking at $300 to mint. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's not just an investment for me, but a huge investment for whoever's buying it. And I'm holding on to a lot of my NFTs that I've spent so much time on, because it's frustrating for me that I should have to pay it, and that the fans should have to pay it as well. So for me, it's frustrating. OpenSea did something interesting in that they enabled Polygon, which is Matic, which is great because it's gas free. But it's being labeled by some people on YouTube as like the spam blockchain, or because it's free, everybody's just putting anything on there. Yeah. And I love it, but if that's the perception, it would be quite unfortunate, because I think there's huge potential with Matic and Polygon on OpenSea. And I've got stuff on both. I've got to the stage where, okay, I don't want to charge fans too much ETH gas fees, so I'm going to put it on Polygon as well. And then you're defeating the object. Well, then it's not 1 of 1 NFT, then it's like 10 on this side and 10 on that side. Yeah. So coming up with the strategies that align to the technology that's out there is going to be really important, I think, for artists as well.
Yeah, I think that like right now it makes a lot of sense to be testing a lot of different networks, and so you have to be thoughtful about how you do that, and just how, I think, just transparency and honesty about what you're doing is really the best course of action. You can say, this collection of NFTs, I have 10 NFTs. They're all 1 of 1s. These are 1 of 1s that exist on the Ethereum mainnet. There are also a set of 1 of 1s on Polygon, but they are a different set of 1 of 1s because they are on different networks. And I think that Ethereum's probably going to continue to reign king. If you own a token that is on the Ethereum mainnet, I feel like you've made it. We'll call that the major label of music NFT sales, right? You've made it. But I think that just as there are countless musicians worldwide who earn a very good living and neither of us have ever heard of their names, there are going to be many multi-millionaire crypto holders selling NFTs in the music space on Binance Smart Chain and Solana and Flow and all these other networks that have come out that have very minimal transaction fees. I mean, I myself, for whatever reason, I find myself drawn to the infrastructure of Solana. I think the Solana network is really cool. I think it's really well thought out. The structure is great. It's almost non-existent, but it is there. Some of the NFT platforms that I find on there are really well put together and really well thought out. So I think that's probably going to be the one I lean into testing next. But I think that's the name of the game right now. You just got to, you can't know unless you mint something and put it on the network. That's the only way to know.
That's right. Definitely agree. And there's so much choice out there. And that's why another reason why I try and feature on my videos is as many platforms as I can come across, and I tell people to put in the comments, let me know. If you just want to put streaming on and you want to not put stuff on Spotify, or you just want to be on the blockchain, there's Audius. You can just upload your music just like SoundCloud, and you're on the DeFi blockchain, and people can stream and find you and discover you straight away. If you want to make your own NFTs, maybe you just want them purely audio, then you might want to look at which platforms can actually do that. Things like enter.audio, you put like a front pick and then you upload your music, you can do that. There's lots on OpenSea, but it's such a flood of so much on there. OpenSea, I think of as the eBay marketplace of NFTs.
100%.
And it's as big as eBay as well. So, but there's loads of choice out there. There's some you'll find you have to submit your music to apply to be on the platform. There's platforms such as OneOff, there's Serenade, and they mainly feature famous artists. So there's no harm in applying, right? That's the thing. Right. But there is so much choice. There's stuff coming up that's going to be really interesting. Things like Opulus from Ditto Music, things like Royal from Blau, the famous NFT DJ. Now that's going to be possible for you to maybe own 50% of your unreleased track, but then you sell 51% share of that song to investors. And there's these things coming up that aren't released yet, but there's a lot of hype about them, a lot of Discord channels, lots of Telegram, lots of people talking about them. So what I would encourage people to do that are interested is just keep checking YouTube. I think that's one of the best sources of information out there. And you're right, you've just got to try different things, right, and see what sticks. And you will get success if you keep going. I think that's the thing. But I've built a Discord channel purely for NFT platforms, but as well as my music, to try and get a community going. And you're right, Tom, if you can get a community going with your music and get people really excited about it, that really helps too.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the core, one of the core tenets of the whole Web3 thing is community, I think. And it really all get people excited about it, get people talking about it, share your secrets. If you hop in a Discord and see somebody making a project, ask them about it. Ask them what they make it on. Where did they mint? What software did they use? Did they use an IDE to, did they do it on their computer and then upload, or did they mint it on the platform? What did they do? Ask. People will tell you.
They will. Yeah, because it will help. Absolutely, they do. No, I think it's really exciting.
You touched on Royal.io, and I want to talk about that for a second, because I am very interested to see how we move, if we even move from music as a purely speculative asset as an NFT, like a painting or an art, piece of art, to music as a cash flow generating asset more akin to real estate. Because right now, music NFTs, like all art NFTs, are purely speculative. You're buying with the hope that the value of this is going to increase, but it's not generating actual cash flow for you. Streaming music, on the other hand, is an asset that produces cash flow like a rental property. Now, depending on how big you are, it's slightly less than a rental property, but it's the same mechanics still. But if we can figure out a way to marry the two, where you buy a speculative asset that generates revenue at the same time, then I think we put real incentive in the hands of investors with deep pockets who are going to want to fundamentally change the fee structure of how artists are compensated. If somebody owns 50% of the royalties for a piece of music and they see what they're getting paid, they're going to be like, okay, somebody needs to build something better where you get paid better for this so that I can make some more money off of my assets. I think when that happens, when you get somebody with deep pockets who's a serial investor, let's say, and with connections in the tech world, that's where somebody's going to build a new platform. And Spotify and Apple Music better watch out, I think.
Oh, I think so too, definitely. Yeah. Plus the investors all, want their return of investment, and they will push that music out.
Yeah.
You can guarantee it. They will be your promoters then,
Right.
actually helping you to, and that's then going to be rewarded on the artists themselves.
Yeah.
When Calvin Harris first came out, he was managed by a chap called Mark Gillespie, and he's literally become an advisor for Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
That was announced yesterday. There's a lot of influential people kind of on the bandwagon now, and have realized the potential of all of these NFT platforms. There's a new one as well called noised.com, where you can put your music out there, and whoever buys it will actually own that song, it's going to be quite interesting. Now, there's certain rules with that, in that they have to release it under your name as the artist, but obviously they will get the royalties for that song. But the incentive for that, for you as an artist, is that you're getting that upfront, NFT price for what you sold it for. Right. So there's lots of different strategies going on, and that's why I encourage people to look into it if they're interested.
Yeah, I think one thing I would say is, if as an artist, as an independent artist, to play devil's advocate to the royalty thing, wade into the shallow end of the pool when it comes to giving away pieces of equity. Start out owning the equity in your own work. Sell one of ones. When you sell an NFT as a one of one, you don't have to transfer ownership to the rights of that song. You're selling the one of one copy of that on the blockchain. So be very thoughtful about giving up equity early on, especially if you feel like you've got something. And certainly don't give away equity for your whole catalog. If you want to test it with one track, totally cool. But I think long term, just as a business owner, the more equity you can own in your own business, the better for the most part, unless you're trying to scale really, really fast, in which case, you take investment, give up equity and that kind of thing. So just be smart about the balance of that. Because I think a lot of artists, in the rush of like, oh, I made $1,000 off my NFT and all I had to do was give away the rights to it. Like,
it's gone forever, right?
Careful.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, I mean, I've got a huge back catalog. I'm putting everything on a USB at the minute just to see what it equates to. And I think I'm over 600 tracks at the moment, which is crazy. Wow. But I've been very precious about releasing certain music as NFTs. You're absolutely right, Tom. Don't let stuff go straight away. Wait to see what other people do. Try and understand the patterns of what sells, and make sure if you are going to do something like that, that you're not mentally and physically attached to a song so much that don't take risks at this stage. Let other people take the risks, and then when you're comfortable, then I think that's the best advice we can give.
Exactly. And there's also there's derivative works based off of your song. Like, you could make a 10,000 piece generative NFT collection based around one song. It doesn't have to be the song itself. And that gets into very interesting territory, especially if you're an artist that doesn't have vocals in your music. You can mix and match elements. You can make generative work. That's something I would love to test at some point in the next year, is to figure out how to make like a purely generative album of work, so that when you mint the NFT, that creates the track. The blockchain actually creates the track from elements that I've created. So who's the artist, right? Like, I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, that does exist, funnily enough. I can't think, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of the name of the platform.
Is that what Euler Beats does?
Something like that's that. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing. Very similar.
I think it's a little bit more complex making a generative work with music, because you've got to get the right tempo, the right key, the right chord progressions where parts don't rub. It's a little bit more complex than overlaying a hat and a shirt over top of an avatar.
Yeah, absolutely. I do find those generative NFTs really interesting. From my point of view, I've struggled to make a successful collection on OpenSea from your music. I've done like collectible cards that are fairly inexpensive and they go up in price the more sales that there are. Put them on Polygon and ETH. But, you know, again, it's discoverability. Perhaps I haven't pushed that far enough. But yeah, I think there's something about having a collection. There's an artist called Dill who I interviewed about a month ago. And he's like a hip hop producer. He's great. But he's really good with his fans. He'll be like, if you buy one of my NFTs, you will get freebies. If you buy like one of my platinum NFTs, you'll be sent stuff in the post, merchandise. I'll look after you, basically, is what he's saying. And that's something else that artists can bring. You know, they can look after their fans and offer them other things. I love to do free drops on OpenSea. So quite often on Facebook, I'll find a suitable group and I'll just say, look, free NFT drop if you're quick. If you like my music, just send me the address and I'll send it straight to you. And it's really easy to do that on OpenSea. Never do that without consent because people will open the wallet. In fact, I've had the same problem. I've been on OpenSea, you know, on YouTube without thinking, and I've been sent a ton of stuff, and I'm like, what is all of this? Obviously, because I've put myself out on YouTube, they can see my wallet, you know. But yeah, there's lots of stuff, but you have to, I think the biggest thing is don't give up, be patient. But if you don't get success straight away, don't give up. There's so much platforms to look into and so many different strategies for artists that, you know, this is going to continue for a long time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that it's just the beginning. It's early days. I mean, you and I've been thinking about this for a while because we make music. There are people who are very, very fired up about this, who have really started to think about music as an NFT in the last 6 months. And I mean, we're just getting started. Like less than 10% of at least the United States population, I believe, even has a crypto wallet. So
well, that's cool. That's a lot better than the UK. I think in fact, that's the thing. The US have really gotten hold of this. I mean, you took the other sense in that not many people have got it, but from my point of view in the UK, people are still going, what is an NFT? People just don't understand. My friends, you know, they just don't get the concept. But every other YouTube person talking about it is American or Canadian, which I think is fantastic. You know, I think it's great.
Hey, I'm into it, man. I'll take the win.
Brilliant.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'm excited, man. I think it's really cool. I just recently discovered Dill, and I'm really happy to hear that you have connected with him because I was looking through. I found him on Twitter. He posted the thread that someone shared with me, read it, loved it. So I checked out some of his stuff and looked at his OpenSea collection, and he really does. I think one of the things he's doing very intelligently is he's adding value after the sale of whatever it is you're getting, whether it's if you're just getting a trading card, you get a download or you get access to something or, those kinds of things I think are very important. So I think I also think it helps justify building in that value to the price of the NFT, because sometimes it can feel weird to be like, I'm going to charge 1 ETH for a 1 of 1. That's a lot of money. But if you really provide a lot of long-term value on the other side of that, it really justifies it over time. I mean, you get added to a Telegram group of less than 50 people with the artist, or you get free merch sent in the mail, or different things you can do. So I think really being thoughtful about, like, get creative. We're creative people, get creative about experiences that you give to your fans and your community. I think that's exciting.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a really good thing to look after fans, and the likes of Spotify don't always offer that, because we get the statistics back as artists, but we don't see exactly who's clicking on us, whereas NFTs, we've got that wallet address. We can even put, if it's exclusive content, you can put in there, please email me at your artist address, and then you can contact them back. You can use Discord. There's so many different ways to connect with fans now, and I feel like that wasn't really available before, maybe on Bandcamp. But you kind of push to do that more so with NFTs, because you want to really care for people.
And it feels like simultaneously you get access to plug into all these avenues of discovery, but you own your platform because it's your wallet address directly connecting with other wallet addresses. You go through Bandcamp or even YouTube, that platform is the hub of you connecting with others. In crypto land, it's your wallet to your wallet. That's it. There is no middleman.
No, it's your data as well.
That's cool. Yeah. So, well, cool, man. This has been awesome.
It's been great. I really appreciate it, Tom.
Yeah, man. Thanks for wanting to chat with me, dude. And thanks for knowing so much about NFTs and sharing it. It makes me happy.
No, me too. It's good to chat about NFTs. You know, I can tell you research a lot, which is really cool it's refreshing to see. You know, you haven't got tunnel vision. You're opening your mind to lots of different ways of exploring with NFTs. So I think that's great.
Yeah.